Nothing much, yeah, no. Could just had a few drinks.
We've got a good number waiting anyway.
Have we? Okay, cool.
24 waiting is decent. We should get up to about 80, 90 tonight, hopefully.
Right.
Sometimes I don't believe them. Let's see if this works. That's it. Good evening, welcome to Raconteurs News. I'm sorry about that. I didn't hear an absolute single thing about that. My mate stumped me a little intro so that we don't get copyrighted, and I can't hear it. It just that's a picture of me back when I had two legs. Obviously, I was about 2006. That just after I'd scored at Hillsborough, actually. So here we go. Waiting anyway. We've got a good number waiting anyway.
Okay, cool.
That's me. Thank you.
You're back in.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
That's it. Good. Right. Anyway, Owen's here.
Hi guys. Sorry.
Hey, you're right, Owen.
Not too bad. Jason, did you see my live video earlier on?
I did see your live video earlier on, my friend. We've got the guys from Unite Planet on. What the fuck?
Are we on? Are we on air?
There we go. That should be the end of it. I think that's what I should have heard about 10 minutes ago. Oh, Jesus Christ. Gremlins. All the time. I'm sorry about that. I didn't hear an absolute single thing about that. What the fuck is that? I can hear me, sir. What's going on? Just after I scored at Hillsborough, actually. There we go. Oh God! I don't know how that works. Anyway, we're back. We've got it. Owen, good evening, mate. How are you? What is going on? We've got the guys from Unite Planet on, Paul and Jonny.
Hi, Paul Jonny. How you doing?
On this and various other things over the next couple of hours. But you had some breaking news earlier on. I can't find anything in this country, but then again, I was working on a computer without a VPN. So give us an update. What's the situation at the moment?
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Hi, Paul, Jonny, Jason. Yeah, I've literally just come back from having a bit of cabin fever and staying where I am. Me and a couple of guys decided to go into town and have a beer because we're allowed to now. And literally, as we was in the pub, one of the guys came out and said, "They found Maddie." And I went, "What the chuff?" So obviously, I went into the pub. And sure enough, on screen, there's a picture of Madam McCann, and it says "Mortar" underneath, which is obviously death or whatever it is. So I asked one of the Portuguese guys, in fact, which we suspect was an off-duty young policeman, and I said, "Você fala inglês?" which is, "Do you speak English?" And he said, "Sí, yes." And I said, "Is that Madeleine McCann? Have they found her?" And he said, "Yes." So what I can gather from the initial reports is that the body was found in Germany. That's what I'm hearing at the moment. I don't know if the UK news has broken it yet, but I'm trying to find out as much as I can. I've only just literally arriving through the door from having a few beers, so I'm not drunk or anything like that, because obviously finding out about Maddie kind of sobered me up rather quickly. So I thought I'd do the live and obviously plug the show for tonight as well, and see what we can do, see what we can find out in the meantime. I do have a couple of people that are watching in tonight that know of me. and have helped me from time to time with little bits. So I'm asking them now, and you know who you are. If you can find out as much information as you can and just pass them maybe a message, and then I can get them through to the guys on air tonight. But literally, we were just sat outside, lovely sunny day, having a beer, relaxing, and this came up on the news on the screens. Obviously, her face was there that I recognised. Everything else was in Portuguese. I'm not that fluent in Portuguese, but the reports is that the body's been found and possibly somewhere in Germany. As I say, that's yet to be confirmed, and I'll wait for that information to come through.
There has been words done in place, haven't though? It says here, I've got a news report from Martin Brunt, who, as Richard D. Hall will always say, he did say, Coppers once said to him, if you want to know anything, you ask Martin Brunt, not us, but he's done a report and he says that Madeleine McCann, German prosecutor, has evidence British girl is dead. So I think they were laying the, laying the trail there, perhaps for this announcement, but it's not been announced over here, and that's for me. I don't get that. What's your take, guys, Paul and Johnny, just on this news that perhaps Madeleine McCann's body has been found?
Well, I mean, I've seen the Richard D. Hall investigations in this, and I mean the Peter Hyatt. I mean, he analysed the interviews with was it Jerry and what's the man's mother called? Kate. That's the one. And he concluded that they know where a body is, that they killed her accidentally and know where a body is. So if that's the case, then I don't know if they found a body. I don't know what to make of that. I mean, if it's the actual body or if it's just a cover up, or it's. I personally think she's dead and she was killed by accident by Kate and Jerry. But whether this is the
definitely
body,
died in that apartment, didn't she?
Yes, definitely.
From the last report, so I believe, yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, but the cadaver dogs that found body traces, didn't they?
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's lots of evidence to prove that that she died there. But where the body is, I think the McCanns know, obviously. But I mean, Germany.
Yeah.
I mean,
It seems random.
It should be about 40. She would have been 14, wouldn't she? 7 years. Was about 7 years.
Yeah. I mean, do they know how long this body's been there? Do they know the age that she? Does that information come through?
Once again, all the information that was on screen was in Portuguese. I mean, what I'm trying to do is I've got my phone beside me here. I'm trying to look at the footage without there being any volume for you guys there to see if I can at least try and gather some of the Portuguese language and hopefully try and translate it. But I'm trying to look through now to see if I can find anything at all. But as soon as I do, obviously, I'll come to you with that. Thank you, Newbie. Nice one.
Did she die with COVID? Would that surprise you? They said Madeleine McCann had COVID-19 when they found a body somewhere in Germany that she'd already been dead for God knows how. I mean, it just don't make any sense. It's another little thing to pop in the mix. We've so far. I mean, the lockdown's not worked. We know that. Even Neil Sanders will tell you that the lockdown's not worked. Now we've got this race war, and I did put a post on Facebook on the 27th of May saying, "Where's Tommy Robinson and all his mates?" Because they were out on the street wanting freedom and wanted to be free of the EU and as soon as Boris got in power, that's it, they've disappeared. So, then he appears again. So it's almost as if you can chart what's going to happen. Is there anything particular on your radar, or are you just still sort of caught up in all this COVID nonsense, and wanting to try and make sense of it?
Pretty much. I mean, it's. I mean, the COVID thing. It's been blanket coverage, hasn't it? I mean, again, anything in the news, I'm always you know, I don't believe it. They do, because I mean, we know that it's all orchestrated. Anything that's given airtime in the news, it's, you know, it's been compromised somehow. You know, it's all serves into the agenda. Or you know, it's all to do with, it's not, the news isn't there, is it, to inform us? It's there to kind of project a reality that they want to place on us. So you know, it's perception, isn't it? It's perception. It's control of our perceptions. That's what it is. It's not informing us on anything. You know, so this is what, you know, COVID is, and the same with the race riots going on. I think that all is lumped in with it. You know, you can't have a news item that's completely correct, factual, and one that's not. It's all the same. For me, it's all the same. Mm-hmm. It's all contrived, you know. So that's where I was at. And the COVID is completely contrived, you know. So it's there's so much evidence to that, you know, that tells me that this is nothing like we're being told. Nothing like it.
Have you been affected, or do you know anybody that's been infected with COVID-19?
No, not really. I mean, there's Robert Hawkes once, he says he could have been, but there's not actually officially diagnosed, anything like that. No.
I've got a friend that had it, but that's all right. We're not a friend or family.
Yeah. You already see it, don't you? And a lot of the news reports did say died with COVID-19 rather than of COVID-19, which I always find suspicious. But you see, that's the mainstream media. They're given a script. Apparently, they haven't had the Madeleine McCann script yet, not in this country. But that seems to be playing out somewhere in. It's definitely going to be a huge, massive story when it breaks. If it finally breaks, I mean, we're breaking it here, really, aren't we? On Raconteurs News.
This is it, yeah.
What's important?
As soon as I saw, obviously, the news item, that's why I did the live and did mention that, because obviously, from one or two things just recently, the Hampstead twins. I was talking to somebody this morning, Andy Devine over in Greece, and we know for a fact that on YouTube and Facebook is that there is a group that's looking into the Hampstead kids, but it's not available in the UK. Andy can get it in Greece, and also I found it today in Portugal. You know, both on YouTube and in Facebook. So I know now, as I was saying to you, Jason, a couple of weeks ago, is that I am sure that the UK is being selected. You know, you're only getting selective things, even on social media. You know, in particular during this time now. So I think even this today even confirms it, regardless to, although I can't 100% say it, because obviously with the translation I've not got it, is that is of importance to the UK, but it's not being reported. But then again, if I look at the messages from other people, they're always saying it's a distraction, this, that, and the other. I agree with that. But obviously I thought I would come and obviously mention this, because I think it's a subject that we all know about, you know, whether you follow it or not. But it's certainly something to have a look at and find out what's going on with it. I'm still waiting for stuff to come through here. I'm just looking at my video myself, and unfortunately, I can't show you, but there's a TV screen behind me there, so I can't actually read the Portuguese text that was on the screen there. If I could find out what the text was, obviously I could use the old good old translate and give you a full breakdown on that, but I can't seem to see the screen on it. But what I'll try and do with my phone at least is try and get some information from any sort of Portugal news outlets over here while we're going on. So I may be quiet for a bit, Jason, but I want to find out more about this.
No problem, mate. No problem. You're our correspondent in Portugal. Raconteurs News. That's correspondent. We've got them in Derbyshire, and we've got them in Portugal, Yorkshire, and we've even got one in America, in Washington. So our correspondents are everywhere, keeping on top of what's going on. So we'll catch up with you in a little bit. If you get anything, Owen, just jump in. It's not a problem at all. So the Webster Report as well has been reporting that a body's been found. For me, again, it's like this. It's part of this. We were talking before. It seems to be when we were talking about lockdown. There seems to be like a collective mental illness.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
When you think, you think you've told somebody something, and that is then they're going to go, oh wow, you mean don't want to do this? No, they won't do that. They'll do what they're told. It's what the TV tells them. And you've had a few people on. You do your interviews. Gives an insight into who you've had on and how you do your interviews, because you do them a little bit differently to how we do them. And we're live, but a lot of yours are recorded, aren't they?
Do you want to take that?
Well, yeah. Recently, I've had Rex Bear from Leak Project. That's going to be under edit now, and be out this week, hopefully. So basically, yeah, we do at the moment it's Zoom, and then record it, edit it, and then put it on for everyone to see on YouTube. Really.
I mean, we've always preferred kind of face-to-face interviews, haven't we, where we can. You know, I think we all agree that within United Planet Group that when we do face-to-face interviews, I think we get more out of it. You know, we just connect more, don't you? You connect more. But I mean, so we're all quite selective in when we do these interviews. You know, like this. So, you know, we love you guys. So this is why we always agree to come on, Raconteurs News. So, but generally we do enjoy to set up the cameras, go to, whoever we're interviewing, either they come to where we are or we travel, and we've traveled quite a bit, haven't we, in time, length and breadth of the country, and we'll go and we'll set up cameras, do the interview a couple of hours, have a chat, and, and it's, I think it bodes for better experience, I think, for how that's how we like to do our interviews as much as we can.
Yeah, there's no better than sitting across from somebody and looking into their face when they're talking to you. Super Leads in there. I'll just say hello to some people in chat room. We've got Super Leads who's just put at Raconteurs News. Did anyone have Maddie in the Deadpool? Well, a few weeks ago we had a Deadpool, and I've got it all written down in back in my book here. Who took what and everything. So there's no Madeline McCann, I'm afraid. So that would have been a winner, wouldn't it? If anybody thought that you were actually still, available. I don't think there's any part of her body that'll ever be found. Me personally, and do you know what? If they come out and they say we've confirmed it through DNA, that's just going to make me not trust DNA anymore. You know what I mean? DNA. What do you do on DNA? When somebody's got DNA, you can't do anything. If you don't know anything about this stuff, it's like a secret weapon. So, oh Jesus, crackers! It's crackers, lads. I hope it's a bit more calm there in Derbyshire. You do some get-togethers as well, don't you?
As what? Sorry.
You do some get-togethers. I know you did one last year. You're probably not doing one this year, but tell us about them. You
mean like the road trip things? We do that road trips, don't we? We like to go on little adventures. We just like to we just when we create our content, we like to do different stuff, whether it's making documentaries and a lot of work goes in that, or we go on little adventures, always with a purpose, of course, to discover something or learn ourselves, or investigate something. Or we just like to have a different
or have a bit of humour.
Definitely.
Your Norman videos. So
That's it. Those but
you have to inject some humour in, because it is funny anyway, isn't it?
You've got to. You've got to.
Go on. Sorry.
This is the reason why we did the recent little humorous episodes we did, only like 10 minutes long at most, but just with all this COVID madness, there was too much doomsday negativity thrown in. So just inject a bit of humor and but with a message in it. I think that can travel just as far. You don't have to beat down the message right down your throat. You can have it in subtle forms, but it still carries the same message. You can do it in humor. That's what. So I've been told off for being funny on this channel.
And I used to have a co-host, Aid. I don't know if you're. I know you've been on when Andy were on, but I had another co-host, Aid. And he used to. I'd be going somewhere, and there'd be a punchline at end, and he'd interrupt me just before my punchline, and it let me drag my hair out. That's probably why I got no hair. But we love you, Aid, anyway. If you're listening, go over to his channel, Aid Hardy Free Speech. He's got some good stuff on there. Owen, you've just popped something up that we could put on the screen. You want me to put that on screen?
Yeah, this is from. This was sent to me by good old Alice. That's in the chat room there. This is obviously that's from the German police. Say they know Madame McCann died, but don't know where the body is buried, and that was posted at, as I say, 4:03 today. But I reported on this a couple of hours ago, and like I say, the two guys that were in the bar that had told me were off-duty officers. So I can't find anything. I'm looking on the Portugal news site now, and I still can't find anything in regards to that. So I'm still searching through, Jason, to see if I can find anything else.
Right. Okay. Well, they did say, didn't they, that when they made Hull the capital of culture, European capital of culture, that they ought to send the people who did who did the decision to make Hull the capital of culture. They said they should send them to find Madeleine McCann, because if they can find culture in Hull, you can find anything. Sorry, you can find anything. Yeah, so there you go. We're up to date. We've still not got it confirmed, but we've got Paul and Jonny with us from United Planet, and some stuff coming from Newbie from the chat room. Can you see the chat room, you guys?
We can, yeah.
You can, okay. I just, because sometimes people can't. They can see the private one, but they can't see the chat room. I broke my humerus once. What's that? That's Robo, isn't it? That's not that arse muscle, that arse thing that I've had, isn't it? Fucking falling out of my wheelchair, and it's a new wheelchair and all. I got a new wheelchair. They came round, and because my wheelchair, I said my wheelchair's knackered. It kept the things that I push it, push you the circles that you've got on your tires that you used to push. Well, they kept coming loose, coming off, and I had to keep screwing them up all the time. Anyway, they came up and they come, and my seat were knackered. It were all split and all white and everything. And he came to my door, and as soon as I got out of the way, he came and had a look, and he went, "Oh, it's knackered. I'll get you another one." I says, "Well, can I get a new seat now?" He says, "Yeah, I've got one in the van." And he came back, and he just opened the door and threw a cushion at me. Because he was that scared, we're getting COVID-19. I mean, it really has had an effect on people. I can see you've got your mask on. And is it Paul and Jonny? Are you on the right side? You know your name?
Yeah, it is. It is on here, on our laptop here.
Right, so Paul's on the left and Jonny's on the right.
This is me.
There you go. That's it. I'm terrible with names. Alice is in the chat room. Good evening to you. Nothing to do with raspberry vodka, said Super Leeds. It's on BitChute, apparently. I don't know what that means. But it's on BitChute. What's the bit called? You were talking about a video? What's that? Do you know what it's called? No, Owen. No.
Sorry, mate. What was that?
Someone said something about a video
on BitChute.
No, I'm having a look at it here now. It's on BitChute. Do you have Skype or Discord? I don't know what Uni's trying to say with that. I don't know. I was away for a second, so I don't know what he's trying to get at.
I think he's going to send you a link to the video on Skype, I think. But he can put it in chat room if he wants. Raconteurs news headline in the Sun. Let's have a look what it says in the Sun then.
In the Sun. Okay.
In the Sun.
What thickens?
Scum newspaper.
I guess if they do find the body, they'll probably use the same doctor that does the autopsy as Dr. David Kelly. as suicide.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that as well. And the doctor that called out the COVID, I think I did a couple of interviews with him. Well, he's been struck off now for I think for a year, so he can't say anything or do anything. It's ridiculous. I mean, we've known surgeons that have been, you know, a victim of because they've wanted to try to right a wrong or something like that. You know what I mean? And ended up in nut houses. So I mean, we worked when somebody put up. What I don't want the new normal. I preferred the old normal. Well, I thought the old normal was shit. I'd have an excellent normal.
You're not wrong.
And the new normal's going to be worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Where do you see us going, fellas? Where do you see us marching out? Is there a race war going to be coming along, or is it on the edge of that?
Well, that's what they're pushing for, isn't it? It's just more distraction, isn't it? I mean, the old COVID kind of narrative is you know, it's pushing us apart. You know, the old 2 meters social distancing and all that. You know, and I think that's more in the physical sense, and then they're trying to divide us with the race wars as well. It's just another division, and I mean, personally, I think with the old COVID thing, I think there's a bit of pushback with that. I think people are waking up a bit to it, and not enough yet. But I think the cabal, or whatever you want to say, getting a bit desperate. I think they're a bit worried, so they're chucking in something else. I think they need a distraction, but it's got to be still dividing us. It's all about dividing us. So, you know, name of the game for them, isn't it?
I mean, I've seen that, you know, obviously with it since I did the video, obviously with the people that are aware of what's going on these days, is that a lot of people are saying distraction, something to, you know, take our mind off the current situation. Now, yeah, it is, you know, like I say, it's been 7 years since Madeleine went missing and everything else. It's something obviously I'm going to follow up, because obviously, like I say, everything was in Portuguese. I couldn't translate it. However, these guys that were there, that, you know, they could speak well enough English to explain this to me. I wasn't going to stand there in front of the TV and try and get the gist of the Portuguese language, because I haven't got the gist of it. It's a shame, really, because after we left that pub before coming on air, we went to another pub where there was a friend of ours that is Portuguese. So it's just a shame she wasn't there at the time so she could fully translate to me. So, you know, I'm going to do a disclaimer here. It's all the information that I've got at the time in the pub, and the information that I received from Portuguese people. I do not speak the Portuguese language. It's the information I've received. So, you know, that was what I was told. It could become something completely different. I wasn't here to obviously set anything going. Obviously, it was in news that I thought that everybody needed to hear, at least. The words I heard from these two guys is that they'd found her. And that was a question I asked. And I think that was the most important part about it, is that I said, so have they found the body? And they said yes. So that wasn't lost in translation, because the guy, you know, could speak well enough English to understand what I was saying. So I'm still going to plod on, have a few screens here, remain a bit silent, Jason, and do a bit of prodding about, see what I can find.
Well, they got apparently the Sun have got this exclusive Maddie clue. This is breathtaking. Maddie suspects camper van spotted by satellite nearby. Spotted by satellite nearby hours after she vanished.
Wow.
Was that Skylink that did it? Was it Skylink that did it?
Sky News. That's the front. I mean, they're obviously setting this German guy up, aren't they? I can see that. You can see that. You know, we know. Well, we know as well as anybody can know that she died in that. She didn't die in Germany. She died in that room.
Exactly.
In that apartment. But it's got his camper van on Google Earth from 2007, were it? Wow. 2006. Because I remember it because I was driving back from Bury in Lancashire back to Sheffield, and I'd just done a night in the 80s, And as I was on my way back, I always had talk radio on rather than music. So I fucking hated for a DJ. I hated music. I just absolutely despised it. But it was an easy way for me to make money. It was good money, you know. Where else do you get paid 50 quid an hour to and sit there, play records and talk nonsense? So that's why I do. And I was listening to the talk radio on the way home. I think it was Radio 5 Live, and the first reports were coming through that a young girl had gone missing in Portugal, Praia de Luz, as it were. So that's my memories of that. It seems to have overtaken us a bit. Here's some on the. We've got more than half. We've got an hour and a half. Yeah. But while Owen's doing that and having a look at that, and we'll get back to him every now and again when he's got some. What about the UFO scene? What's going on at the UFO scene at the moment? And also, I want to ask you a question that I always ask UFO people, Ben Emlyn Jones, that's been on, and also Gary Eseltine, and I don't think he knew what to make of it. But I said to him, well, what's your favourite colour UFO?
Favorite colour UFO? Wow. I'm gonna go. I don't know. Silver seems to be like the main one, but yeah.
Amazing UFO days.
I'm not keen on the black triangles.
No.
See, mine's green.
Green.
What did you say?
Yeah.
I said something really stupid last time. Peach. My wife's shouting at me downstairs listening. I said peach. Peach is my favourite colour UFO. But what's going on UFO front? Is there a lot of activity? I mean, it gets buried when there's all this.
Yeah, there's been bits on Bufo, but I'm not really. Benny probably the best as well. But yeah, it seems to have been dropped a little bit from as far as I can imagine. I'm not saying the activity in the sky has dropped any, but I think. But you'd think that with planes not in the sky, there'd be more. And there probably is. I've not really come across nothing major.
No. I mean, I've personally seen an orb with my family, and that was going back around about 10 years ago. And basically, my daughter spotted it first, and it was basically changing colours, and it was hovering over a neighbour's house almost, and then it just basically then shot up into the sky. So I definitely have seen that, and I about 2 or 3 months ago, I think I got abducted, but I don't want to say that for sure, but it was very weird. I basically saw a grey alien next to my bed. I woke up vibrating, really pulsating. My body was, I never had that before. And then next thing, I was out again, but I definitely saw like a grey alien and vibrating at the same time. Which is very weird. Yeah, I feel like
It's weird because I had an experience, and I told the only person I told about it were Andy, and the only person that I ever really told about any of these experiences were Andy. But I would laid on my bed one night, and there's lights from every different. I think probably telly were on or something. So there's all lights and stuff, and I closed my eyes, and when I closed my eyes, there were two greys there, so I could see everything that I could see before. So it was like my eyes weren't closed, but there were two greys there. Two greys stood there, and now my eyes are gone. I could see exactly the same thing. That's the first time I've ever shared that with anybody apart from Andy. But that was a weird thing that happened to me, and it did go on for quite a while. And I don't know what happened, but I woke up next morning and I could remember it as clear as anything. Nothing. When I closed my eyes, nothing was gone. Everything that I'd been able to see was still there, but it's just there were two greys stood there. Just really weird. I've got a question that Bandit Dusters put. Do Paul and Jonny think that the Capel Green film will ever come out?
Oh, it was supposed to come out, wasn't it?
A while ago.
Well, I know they put it back to, was it end of this month or this month it's supposed to come out? But yeah, that's it. I don't know. That's it. I think it was supposed to come out, sure, this month. But they probably put it back again. I mean, it's been, how long's it been in production now? I mean, is it about 2 years? It's dragging on, isn't it, a bit? I mean, I don't know what you make of the old Rendlesham Forest case, because there's a bit of dispute, isn't there, with Larry Warren's that statements and a lot of that. I mean, I know Richard D. Hall and Andrew Johnson, they're not in the agreement with Larry Warren, are they? But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I tend to agree with him, but he seemed quite nice guy, didn't he? Larry, unbelievable, but it's one of them.
It does seem something. Again, it's another community that's been divided.
It is again. Yeah.
A community of people that have got just every single similar interest.
Yeah.
They disagree on one particular issue.
I mean, the thing with the Rendlesham is, I think you agree as well. I tend not to dwell too much on what's dividing, in the UFO community. There's people concentrate sometimes on the battles within it rather than anything else, and it kind of ruins it sometimes, So I tend to steer away from that, and I think you do as well. Yeah. I think we all do.
Yeah, that's more unity than dividing it. I think at the end of the day, we don't know what's happening on those few nights at Rendlesham Forest. We don't know. Nobody knows really. If anyone
knows indirectly involved.
Yeah. So what's the point in arguing about it? And I know that Peter Hyatt's thing that Richard Hall sorted out. I thought that was quite detailed for me. I liked the statement analysis of it all.
I didn't see. I was talking with Larry Warren and somebody else, and their testimony were analysed. So
all of them really.
Colonel Holt and Peniston and
the main characters all got analysed from Peter Hyatt and what his thoughts were at the end of it. So it's all. I can't remember the full actual results now, to be honest with you, but I remember it was very conclusive for me.
Yeah, I think Peter Hyatt did conclude that Larry Warren showed a lot of dishonesty. I think those bits on all of them really, but I think he pinpointed on Larry Warren a bit. But I don't know. I mean, his statement is that he was the only one that saw the aliens, wasn't it? And everything, and other people didn't know he was there, or he was there on a different night. And now I've got with Capel Green, there's now another witness come forward, haven't they? Who said yes, he was there, and it just gets a bit of a, it gets all muddled up.
Muddy the water as always in any situation.
Whenever we've had anybody on from any side, it's always been that I've not got a dog in this fight. People can say. Obviously, I don't want. If somebody says something, then I'm going to give them the right to reply. If someone says something bad about somebody, I've always done that. It's got me into a great load of trouble, and then both sides don't like you because you give one side a platform when they've then said something about someone else. So you said, you've got a right to reply, and they've done, and then everyone hates them. So it's. It can be difficult sometimes. Sometimes juggling it all up. But is it? I suppose there's a lot of the stuff. There must be a lot of stuff going off, because I've seen a number of UFO sightings, things that have come out from behind clouds and gone back, and stuff like that. But I would imagine it does get buried in everything else. I mean, now we've got we've probably started the internet rumor of the century with Madeleine McCann's body's been found. If that could be right, next week we'll probably have about 3 million viewers.
Jason, what are they going to do? Blacklist me? I've actually found something came in at 3 minutes past 8 on the Sun IE, so I guess that's Ireland, and that was just basically Madeleine McCann, latest news. Prosecutor has evidence she is dead as cop probe German Maddie case, and apparently it's a 43-year-old, a Christian B, who was a paedophile, and is named the prime suspect. It doesn't give anything more than that on there. It just goes on about the key location, just the backstory. But like I say, that was updated at 41 minutes ago on the site there. So I'm still confused as obviously from the information I got from the guys in the bar there. There's nothing that's any close to that. There are other reports from 20 past 7 today, 6:45. All on the same thing. It's all leading towards Germany. So I think what it is that the main investigation has led them to Germany in that. But as far as the Portuguese press is going, there is nothing there. But like I say, it was on the Portuguese news in the bar that I was in today. And obviously, like I say, I asked the guys the questions in there, and they said that she'd found the body. But like I say, there's nothing that I can find here yet at the moment.
Right. I'm just looking at some of these comments. Seagulls and chickens and all sorts of stuff. When this chat room, it's like and my wife's sending me text messages. It's like an extra. It's like a different separate from the actual show. You'll get the odd occasion when people comment on the show, but usually then the side issues start getting on in the chat room, so it's pretty lively. Uni Black Sister says, Jason, I want a spanner. Yes, you can have a spanner when you are no longer a virgin. Virgins aren't allowed spanners, unfortunately. It's a new thing here. It's a little bit like having sex with somebody in their house or somebody else's house. I mean, what the prostitutes? I think prostitutes are exempt, weren't they? I mean, how do you exempt some people that are illegal from a legality that's happening? If you're a prostitute, you're all right. So all you've got to do, if you're going to have sex with somebody, when they leave in house, coppers say, "Excuse me, have you just had sex in the house? Because we know that you don't live in the house. You just are a prostitute."
I've got a question for the guys here, Jason, and this is ask about the 20 back program, please, which is taken back 20 years, age regressed, and put back to present day. Any thoughts on that, guys? It's a question coming from Mel, something about alien abduction, I do believe. So it's the 20 and back program. Have you heard of that?
20 and back, I heard that one.
I've not heard that at all.
Okay, then if Basil's mum could elaborate, Basil's mum in the chat can elaborate on that to me, and I can get back to the guys with the questions. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, no, I've never heard that.
New to me as well, but I'm sure that will be elaborated to me quite shortly.
I've heard about like super soldiers type things that they get to go on to like Mars or whatever, and then come back, and then they get regressed into like childhood again, which is, I don't know, I just find it very hard in my brain to work out because I'm not that intelligent, but I get, it's a bit unusual for me.
Yeah.
So apparently this 20 years and back was the Alien Human Alliance program.
Well,
that's the information I'm getting. Tony Rodriguez was involved. Thank you, Basil's mum. Tony Rodriguez, is that a familiar name to you?
I've heard about that.
This is something definitely for me to have a look into. Then I'm intrigued. I'm really intrigued.
Yeah, I mean, really, we are quite versatile. Well, not versatile, not knowing UFOs details too much, but we know a lot about conspiracy theories conspiracies.
Yeah. The mix.
The mix, we don't specify and specialize in one thing.
I'd love to know more about that though.
Yeah, I'd like to know about that,
I mean, I follow Secure Team on YouTube, and Josh hasn't done anything for a while. I remember when it stopped, he was getting a lot of threats, and I think it was interfering with his personal life as well. And they stopped, and for a time you didn't hear anything from Third Phase either.
Yeah.
Posting. But just of late, I know Third Phase have done 1 or 2 videos of recent sightings, but the security team as well, because he ran a really good, runs a really good page there. But to say that I really think that things got to him, and his posts have literally, I think it was right at the beginning of the world lockdown when we were all locked in these cages. He said he came out with a video that just basically explained himself that he wasn't going to do stuff for a while because he was getting pressure from here, there, and everywhere. I mean, I tend to look at that in the fact that this year is supposed to be the year of disclosure, and I think things that he's been doing has really touched the edge, And I think my personal view is that he's been told to just lay off it. This is our gig now, leave us to it, because there are a lot of the channels that are on there seem to be posting less and less, even though there's the site still going on, but there seems to be less and less postings from these Facebook pages.
Yeah, I do think some people are getting hit, aren't they? I think I think definitely, and then more and more, that's what's happening.
I've just done a search for that 20 and back program on Google, and it came up with a YouTube channel, 20 and back program. I clicked on it, and it took me to a YouTube page, which is someone called Michael Newcomb. Now, most of the videos that are on here are deleted, have been deleted.
Okay.
Wow.
That's how you. In this day and age now, with the nonsense censorship, I mean, for me, the logical mind would tell you if it's taken off, you have to see it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Just the same example that I used before about the kids in London. Is the amount of that people aren't seeing that in particular countries. So once again, what does that tell you? What are they keeping away from? It's like Andy was saying, Andy Devine on his video, is that what is London hiding? If you look at Finchley Road's involved. It's a big thing. So you can understand why that these posts are being deleted, or people's accounts are being shut down. It's obviously something they don't want us to know.
Yeah, exactly. And the video sense stuff. It's basically, I mean, David Icke says if they can't win the debate, they don't have the debate. They take it off the table. And this is what they're doing with everything.
Yeah, I agree.
And we've seen it a lot with obviously the COVID thing, but they do it with everything that they don't want the public to know about. They'll never address anything.
Especially with just picking up the story that I got tonight, it kind of makes me wonder, have they dropped something in again to take you away? I mean, I was mentioning last night is that I've had fallout with 1 or 2 friends with not my particular views. All I've been doing is posting stuff just to gain, a bit of dialogue between people, and some information for myself. And I found myself, falling out with friends over it. And I've never ever wanted that. I'm a very loving, open person. But I think with this current situation now is that we're potentially being fed with loads of red herrings to cause argument, to cause division, to cause hate, and people falling out. And I think it has to be a very, very careful time, especially for guys like ourselves that have followed this over a number of years, and now this has come to light, and it's kind of, well, in the beginning it was snowballing, but now it's kind of lost its momentum, and people are turning around and starting to ask questions. So then obviously the restrictions then of what we see is less and less. So we're getting less and less ammunition to use or to pass out to people on the platforms that we have.
And I think it's the same when with all this social distancing and you can't meet people. I think that was another way to stop people talking, stop spreading the messages. I think that was part of the reason why they did that. So one part is obviously they want to divide us. They don't want us to have that natural human contact. But a lot of it, I think, was also so we don't interact. Those of us who see it's a load of crap. It just takes one element away that we can't converse with our family, because not everyone. I mean, we can put things on the internet and everything, but I think when you converse with people directly, sometimes I find that the messages stick better with people. Because I mean, when you're on people on videos, they skip, They skip things. They don't take it in. If you're sitting with someone, you have that full discussion, don't you? They take that away, and it's so less people are going to be, hear this message. They're not going to hear, the other side of the argument, the other side of the thing.
I've got a song. I've just made a song up in my head about COVID-19. Honestly, I'm going to sing it to you. It's only a couple of lines, but I think you'll join in if you feel confident, even though you don't know the words. But you'll understand. You'll recognise the tune. Okay. Stop spreading the flu.
I'm sneezing today.
Don't want to be a part of it. COVID.
Brilliant.
I got some more information in regards to that 20 and back. A name of Tony Rodriguez, Andy Basaccio, William Tompkins, and Pete Peterson. I think they must have been the guys.
Yeah, I've heard of Basago because he was saying he's going to be president of the United States.
Yeah,
that's what
he's
yeah.
The funny thing is that that the YouTube channel that popped up, there's a load of deleted a lot of deleted videos, but it's funny that the non-deleted videos are John Rappaport and what's his name? David Wilcock, is it? David Wilcock. So there's a lot of David Wilcock stuff on there, and they've not been removed. It makes you wonder what whether somebody actually stumbled across something. Because if John Rappaport, I've interviewed John Rappaport. I won't trust him as far as I could, as far as I could throw him or push him on the pushchair. It's interesting that those are the ones that are there, and it looks like it might be interesting. Somebody put Tony Rodriguez is what you need to look for in. Somebody put that in chat room. But I've seen a lot of these things. These that Basaccio, and it really, really convincing. He's the guy. Wasn't he the guy that said that he was at the Lincoln speech?
And he said he was also time traveling with Obama.
Yeah,
I think he said.
I'm chat room here, Jason. This is from Bandit Buster. Does anyone think that they are trying to force an Arab Spring type event where the masses are manipulated into forcing change?
Maybe.
Which is one of the things, if you think about it as well, with all with the events and the things. I mean, it's taken us away from the whole idea. I mean, the whole thing of it really is that we're in the middle of a massive virus outbreak. Everybody stay indoors, social distance, wear masks. We can go out and protest, and you can stand next to each other. And just seeing videos over the weekend of the protests all over the world, and to see how close proximity the police are without the masks, in going to people and talking to them. And for me, I can't understand the insanity of it all, because we are in the middle of we're in the middle of a pandemic, and we're supposed to be doing these rules. If you don't do these rules, you're going to be fined, or this, that, and the other. But you can go out and protest if you want. We don't mind about that. Are they expecting a spike into a time, or it's one of those things. I think what it is with the protests going on, whether they be peaceful or violent protests, whatever you want to call them, is that this should never have been allowed to happen anyway. People have the right to protest, and I have nothing against people doing that. But the whole point of the thing is that we were all, you can't work, you can't see your family, you can't go out. And then a man dies, and then straight away, it's like with anything else. If would they have stopped it? There's loads of things. The Sudanese people are getting killed every day. white. Please don't get me. I'm just going to say it is white people are being killed every day. But we're not seeing any protests over that. So that's my personal belief. That what leads me to believe it's a divide and conquer thing, is because they're making an issue out of it. And it's like what I've said. If you take this statement alone, a black man was killed by a white cop. Why not change that a man was killed, an innocent man was killed by a corrupt cop, without having the colour bringing into it? I think that the black and the white are the trigger words. You know, I mean, it was watching the Tommy Robinson thing the other night, and believe it or not, there were some things that he did say that I thought, well, yeah, you're right. But then he kind of touched on the statue in Bristol over the slave guy, which I can understand people's frustrations on that. But that's not the point. He mentioned then again about Winston Churchill, and he was really angry about that. And I was so tempted to find his page and put, do you know what he did in Ireland? Did you know that he sent the army and the police into Wales to miners? Come on, you know what I mean? Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. And people have a clear mind and they can make their mind up. And that's what it is that you fed this line. My post on Facebook this morning was a picture of a lioness with a cub in its mouth, but on two different camera angles. One angle you can see her gently holding it. The other one looks as though she's got the cub in her mouth. Yeah. It's your perception of what you see.
Again, perception. Exactly.
And it's that. And you have to make your mind up with that. Seeing one image. Why make your mind up on that one image? Because there could be others that could change your mind.
I've got an image for you.
And we're only given one, aren't we? This is it.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
I've got an image for you. Here's an image for you. This is that time traveling bloke at the Gettysburg Address. Okay, this is a photo of him. Now, he's, I don't know which one he's supposed to be. I think he's the one. I can't. It's not. If I do that, you're not going to see. I'll tell you.
It's not
in the middle, and he didn't know what were going on and everything. And apparently, the story was. I remember the story because I did watch it. Cause it fascinates me out like that. It's just it don't matter how far out it is. It really fascinates, unless it's really stupid, like fucking dragons. Like dragons and fairies and stuff like that. But I watched a lot of it, and he said, I was walking along the road, and it was freezing cold, and it was February, and he said I'd lost my shoes during transportation. He says we were walking through towards Gettysburg, towards where a dress was being made, and some man in a shop saw him walking past and gave him a pair of shoes, which were oversized. And he said, and that proved, because you could see this kid's shoes were oversized, it proved that he was, a time traveler and had been all, he's been all, he's been fucking everywhere. Obama, listen, Jason, listen to Max Spears. He will make you think. Yeah, he's. I remember Max Spears. He died in mysterious circumstances.
Tony Rodriguez here, taken at 10 and taken and owned by Rockefellers, an island in Seattle. Trained in China Lake for MK Ultra, then across to Peru for remote viewing. Back to Seattle and then back to the moon and Sirius, apparently.
Wow.
Information I had on Tony Rodriguez. Once again, thanks to Basil's mum for that. Some very interesting stuff this time, Charlie.
Look up more of that, I think. Yeah.
Valiant Thor. And there's actually a link here that I'm going to nick and put in possibly the chat in a short while. Thanks for that once again, Basil's mum.
Excellent.
Nice one.
But just going back to the divide and conquer thing with these protests. I mean, you saw like the lockdown protests a few weeks ago, about a month ago, and that was portrayed as really bad. You're not social distance. You're going to kill everyone for doing that, blah blah. And then you got the protests, for the George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter and everything that everywhere, and no one with social distancing, and that seemed to be okay. It's as if, you know, one of the protests serves the agenda, the other one threatens it. That's pretty much why we're seeing how we're seeing it, how it's being portrayed. And you know, I always find it's quite simple to conclude that. You know, it's you just got to put, you know, compare the two together. You know, but people just, I say, a lot of people just see that one perception, and they won't see the other.
I mean, in the restrictions that we're finding on social media now, watching actually, because I remember it was Webby that had mentioned the Tommy Robinson video, and just that alone, the guy is inciting violence.
Yes, yeah.
It's like an inversion, isn't it? There's no two words about it. It was inciting violence. Yes. Now I remember that there has been, when they first said, right, we're going to stop people doing this on Facebook, you know, they could face imprisonment. Nothing has happened to that guy, which leads me to believe, is he being paid to, well, my view, you know, somebody's giving him the coin to, you know, here's some money, Tommy, here's a line or two, go online and say your stuff. Whip him up. I just think he's playing his part as playing a part of anti-establishment, but he's for the establishment. That's what his role is, isn't it? Really, you know. And it's to decide what's happening now, and it's all about violence, isn't it? Really, a lot of it, you know. But I know that these people have been working on this for a long time. I was involved with the No Party 2014-15, and we had a conference down at Stoke Town Hall. And good old Nick Griffin turned up. And, there's a photograph with him behind me, and I've got kind of a snarl on my face. But I did actually approach him and his cronies and asked him what he was doing there. And he did actually say his words were research. So what they were doing, I know that in that time they were going around looking at independents and seeing where they were at. So you can imagine somebody like, I don't know, let's just say, hypothetically, Black Lives Matter started as a Black Lives Matter group, and it was infiltrated, and people started to come in that wanted to join, and then the amount of people that was there originally, you know, was slowly zapped away with all these new people and with all these fundamentalist ideas coming in. And that's so from me looking back at it and seeing how things have progressed politically, just it's right is that I think that certainly, because if you think, when we really did start to get pissed off with the way that the elections was going, you got a lot more independents were coming out. Yeah, they never actually got in, and I can quite honestly say, I think it's with people going in, no matter whether it be a Nick Griffin or Tommy Robinson or whoever, somebody from the Labour, somebody from the Conservative, is that they wanted to know what the real people on the street were thinking, and to manipulate that for their own agenda.
Yes, I totally agree.
You know. Yes. And that's the way I think it's gone. It's for me, it's been methodically planned.
I mean, I think when I agree. I mean, when there's
fail safes.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's not working. Let's use this.
Yeah. It's as if, you know, they have to control the opposition as well as anything else, don't they? Everything. They have to have a, you know, they have to have a control section in the opposition, and that's what Tom Robson basically is. You know, with that he's a control opposition to make him look like he's anti-establishment and it's for the people and for these kind of people, but it's just serving the agenda in it. You know, and I do think these independent political groups, once they show a bit of grounding, they get infiltrated, and then because they're seen as useful, aren't they? Then they say, right, we can have use of this, infiltrate it, and then they become something else, you know, while pretending to be something. You know, it's they have this facade, but you know, this is what happens really. This is what I think anyway. You know. Yeah,
I mean, another thing here. Just Black Lives Matter is a new name for Black Panthers, devised by weatherman Bill Ayres. But then again, you know, I've heard of the association with Hamas and the Muslim Brotherhood, as well as. So I mean, even that alone, even gaining that information, there's so many things that are coming in that for logical thinkers like ourselves, it's a bit of a, I'm going to use the word, mind chuff. Yeah, you know, you're getting all this information, and it's like, well, which way do I go? You know, who's doing what? And And once again, a planned thing to confuse us and to set us off track, off our path.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I'm sure everyone knows, you know, that it's when you look at these groups, you look at who funds it. We all know that, you know, Soros is putting over 100 million into the Black Lives Matter, and you know, it's the funding. You look at funding, and that gives you a good idea of where the agenda is on that political group. So, you know, there's lots of aspects.
In plain fact, there's a video running. It's been running for about 3 weeks now of a guy about 3 years ago at another protest, and he was actually saying, "Oh yeah, I just logged on to GeorgeSoros.com. They asked how many protests they want to be involved with, and then you literally sent a check. You know, directly sent a check. It's become a full-time job.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Understand what I mean? And regardless to, if you think of the world economy, if you dangle a carrot in front of somebody that's having a hard time a bit financially, are the morals going to play? You know, are the morals going to be there? I'd say not, purely because of the economic climate that we're in.
Exactly. Yeah.
People are going to take that because that money is going to be a way out for them, isn't it?
Mm. And
can we climb out of that? Can we climb out of this big thing that we've dug ourselves into financially, economically? I mean, let me just let everybody know you're listening to Raconteurs News, or you're watching Raconteurs News in colour with myself, Jason Holmes. We've got Owen, Lloyd, Martin, my co-host for this evening, and we've got Paul and Jonny from Unite Planet. Tell everybody about how to get to Unite Planet. We'll do that now, and then we'll move on to where you think the economy is going to go, and do you think that were a big part of this lockdown down situation? So, first of all, where can people find you?
Where can we find us, Paul?
They can find us on YouTube. That's what we do have mainly, is our YouTube channel. Also on BitChute. As another instead of YouTube, which is better, I think.
We're moving our stuff over there.
Moving our stuff over, and then you can find us on Facebook. But then we're also going to try and find another platform, because again, censorship and all that kind of thing. So we want to move over to, I don't know, MeWe or something like that, maybe eventually.
And of course, you can email us at Gmail.
Yeah, you're
not Planet.
Yeah.
You're not chucking your son over there everywhere, are you? You're not. You know what I mean? You get these people that do this stuff, and pardon my French, and they fucking stunk it all over his Facebook and everywhere, and he's all gone. I've never been like that. I've always somebody put into one of our chat rooms one of the comments and said, "Oh, you shouldn't swear as much," and I agree. We probably shouldn't swear as much as we do, but he says, and we shouldn't be smoking as well. You know, we're going to lose listeners. And
I'd like to make a comment on that, Jason, because I responded to that comment actually, because the guy was going on about smoking on air, and if that person doesn't know, obviously I'm in Portugal. Cannabis was decriminalised here a long time ago, along with other drugs, and all crime has gone. Well, crime rates have dramatically dropped. You're allowed, I think it's like 5 grams. Obviously, there are people that do grow. You're only allowed a certain amount of plants. If you're obviously caught with over the amount, you're classed as a dealer, and then you'll be dealt with. The system is that you're not thrown in prison, is that you're educated. You go to like a 2 or 3 day course. Somebody may correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's a 2 or 3 day course that you go along with, and you're on your way. So I came to Portugal not because of the cannabis, it's because what was going on in the UK. You know, at the time, me and my partner at the time, we decided that we wanted to leave the UK because we knew things weren't going right. And if we wanted a future together, he says, now with divorce, but if we wanted a future together, we would move away from the UK and do our very best, live off grid, etc., etc. The cannabis helped me. When I left the UK, I was suffering from, I was diagnosed with IBS, and they thought I had Crohn's. I didn't want traditional medicine or pharmaceutical medicine. So obviously I wanted to go the natural way. And, you know, I'm happy to say that I no longer suffer from IBS. I have my odd bouts of stomach troubles, but I've cured myself by using cannabis therapy and other things as well, change of lifestyle, change of mindset. So as I said on the post to the guy, you don't know my reasons that I smoke. So in my opinion, that point was invalid. Because he doesn't know the individual situations of the individual people taking it. It's like with anything, unless you, going back to what I said earlier, unless you know both sides of the story, then please comment.
They're idiots. They comment. You get comments. They're just idiots.
I know that. I know that, but I'm not going to call the person online. I'd rather talk to that person mano or at least in messages, just to explain my situation and see how they take it from then on. So if you are watching, I'm quite happy to be friends with you on Facebook, and we can discuss it, and we'll talk about the whole thing. We'll talk about how it was, bastardized way back, and sorry for swearing, back in the day. But if you look prior to that, is that it was sold all over the United States as medicine. So if you're going to turn around to me and saying we shouldn't be doing it, I suggest you read your history on the herb. The herb.
This is exactly it. Exactly right. I mean, this is it. The perceptions of drugs again. It's completely. It's an inversion again, isn't it? That they just label everything like that's bad, that's bad, that's bad. But these are good.
Alcohol's okay.
Yeah. It's just incredible. I don't
know if you saw the guy we had on last night, but he was taking high doses of DMT, and then he was documenting his experiences. He sent me a book. Here it is. He sent me a book, but we interviewed him last night. I've not read the book yet because I'm crap at reading books, and I certainly haven't got through Neil Sanders' book yet. The print is so small. It must, if it were a proper size print, I think it'd have been twice as thick. But yeah, I'm crap at reading books, but I do get round to it. And I will get round to it. I'm halfway through that. But we had him on, and he was telling us about his reactions to certain hallucinogenics and stuff like that. But like you said, there's nothing researched or anything. It's just if it makes you feel good, you need to either tax it to death, or you make it illegal.
That was one of the things I was saying. I mean, if you go back to some of the reports that I've read, is that if you can imagine when we were all at school, I remember being a milk monitor at school. Milk was thrown at us, wasn't it? You had milk every day at school. And I know back in the days that all domestic animals, cows, sheep, everything was actually fed feral hemp. That's what they was fed until it was stopped. So if you look at the endocannabinoid system that we all have, one of the best things that you had from that was mother's milk, because that contained it. Yeah. The only other thing that had it was the animals that were being fed this. So then obviously when the prohibition came in, all plants were stopped, all the growing was stopped. So obviously the animals didn't have that. And just to carry on from that, if you think people are now talking about the meat market and how there's so many cattle and this, that, and the other, that it's flooding the market. And what people need to think of is that if you think of it, they had a market there where the animals were having the feral hemp and it was good milk and it was going out, it was stopped. But however, the consumption of meat started to grow and grow and grow. And it was the producers that carried on with the cattle, and it went on and went on. So, it's that again, it's things to suit the pocket rather than people's health. Yeah. And in real effect, you could put that in today's situation in any subject. If it's not profitable, we don't want to know about it.
Yes, that's basically it. Yeah, you could wrap it up in that, wouldn't you? Really, that statement.
I'm going to get off my cannabis soapbox and carry on with the rest of the chat, guys. Sorry.
No, it's true.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. The drug, the perception. I mean, with psychedelics. There's a lot of benefits in psychedelics, but all we're told, if you listen to one avenue of information, is that they're class A, no different to heroin or anything like that. Which is ridiculous. When you look at it, look at the studies that they've taken in psychedelics, totally different. It's just I believe they've been using LSD to help people with PTSD. Now, for me, if the drug has this capability of curing people, it should be there.
I was watching something the other day about MMS.
Yeah.
I mean, that a few years ago, but it's starting to rear its head again. And that is a miracle cure.
Yeah.
Why are we hearing about it?
Yeah.
Dollar bill, isn't
Exactly.
it? You know, at the end of the day, and this is what people need to realize, is that the things that aren't available to us, which should be, because it's natural and it's, you know, free going or whatever, if it can't be patented, we can't make money on it, bastardize it.
I mean, that's one element. I think the other one is also with psychedelics, and in some way cannabis as well, is that when you take these things, you can't be controlled as much. You see through things more with psychedelics. You know, if everyone was on DMT, LSD, you know, these governments will not be able to control people because they'll have more free will of thought. They'll understand more about, you know, the nature of reality and what's going on. You know, they don't want that. They don't want people to be enlightened. You know, and so I think there's an element of that involved. You know, keep them. I mean, with alcohol, you know, they advertise that. That's fine. You know, because the kind of where you are with that is you still are in their agenda. You're still in the same vibrational level as they want you to be. They want to keep you on that low vibrational level. Alcohol keeps you there.
Yeah, but
the consciousness that you, Sorry. So that's it. It's a conscious.
I have a lift emergency.
Okay,
Jason. No worries.
But I think there's that element as well. You know, there's the money element, and there's also the human factor as well. They don't want us on to be consciously aware. They want to keep us in that little box.
That's it. So. But it is control, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's control. I thought, are we going for your lift, Jason?
I'm just looking for me remote. I've just put
I keep saying it. I don't know if you guys have seen Jason's lift in the corner of the room there, but I'm going to start a GoFundMe page because I want him to have a dry ice machine and lasers, so that when he start the show where he comes up, you know, we've got the lasers and
that'd be cool.
I'll show you the lads. It's like it's got like neon lights that come on as it goes down. Honestly, I feel like a king among kings.
Oh wow! I love it. Oh dear.
Oh, well,
what's he's done?
He's looking for his remote control. It's like the missing sock.
Yeah.
I can't find my remote. Can you turn it? Take it down.
I'm going to say hello to people in the chat room, Jason. Dial Harper, Tazzy M, Stiltskin, Webby, Super Leeds, Sunny Man, New Being, Basil's Mum, Alice, Dinny, Dave Iron, and all the rest of you guys. Hope you're all good there. Don't forget to smash the like button for tonight and keep it going. Subscribe if you want.
Smash the like button, eh? I like that, you know. We're down with the kids, us.
You know. Sorry, I've done the Baphomet sign there. That wasn't purposely done.
I've got a couple of questions here that I'd like you boys to have a response to if you know anything about it. But somebody's asked about what do you think about the new King of England? And also, I'm going to put this. I'm going to put these together because I think that if there is a story here, then I think they intertwine. The Prince Charles impersonator that they got on the BBC.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
I mean, that was just the most ridiculous thing. Now, I don't know whether you think that the two are mixed or whatever. There's been a lot of talk. The crest's been taken off in Palace. There's all shutters up and things in there. And I have pointed out that the Parliament did vote in to get the old place redone, you know, spend 300 billion quid on it or whatever they were going to do. But, you know, what's your thoughts?
Well, it just seems that a lot of these things are happening at the same time. It seems a bit coincidental if it is like that. But, you know, with the crest coming off, I mean, someone said that a van or something knocked it off. It's being like, you know, refurbished or whatever. and the palace is being refurbished, and there seems to be a lot of excuses with all these things going on, and then there's all these kind of reasons coming in, and it's just, and the Prince Charles one that was a really strange one, wasn't it? You know, I watched that and I can't really make mine up whether that was him or not, you know.
That's
But there's, what's
it's the lift. He's off. No, carry on.
Oh, that's great. That's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. So, Prince Charles, I mean, I don't know if that was him or not. I think the question has to be asked because he did look different. There's different elements. His nose was a bit redder, and the side, I know they had the view of him front was not as clear as if it was through a monitor or something. And then they had a side view of him.
I think it's, carry on.
And then they had like a side view of him that was a camera straight on him, and that the side view didn't look like him at all. It was just, I mean, none of it did. It was just really strange, you know. So there's probably something in that, you know. Either Prince Charles is suffering heavily of something, or he's down with, or there's an imposter there, you know.
Mike Garwood.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be Mike Garwood.
Garwood come out of retirement for that.
Well, Bremner might have done it, mightn't he?
Yeah.
Well,
Shipped in. Yeah, I've got a job for you.
Yeah.
I mean, who's that actor? That Welsh actor. God, what's he called? He played Brian Clough, and he played.
Mark Sheen. Mark Sheen is his name.
Yeah, I mean, he just turns into another person.
It's really good, isn't it? Yeah.
Actor, when he were Brian Clough, he were Brian Clough. You know? And when he were Tony Blair, he was Tony Blair. Well, from what we know of Tony Blair, they were just.
Yeah. I mean, the room that Prince Charles was in looked weird. You know, to me.
Yeah.
It looked like he was like the laptop was on not. You would have thought someone like his situation would be on like in an office, in a desk, but it's on a table. Then something built on top of the table to put the laptop on. I mean, like.
Only an auto cue, isn't it? Your Queen's speech and everything else is all an auto cue, isn't it? So it's strange that you know, it was as if, you know, somebody's put a laptop in front of me, say those words, look straight forward.
Yeah. But I mean, I've seen these videos of like the technology where they can have like this 3D modeling of anyone, and they make it look like that person's actually there. You know, so
that one was very good, though, weren't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's probably a prototype, you know.
You know what it looked like? It looked like one of them. You know when they find a skull and it's like 300 years old, and then the rebuilt skull. You know, they put
and the modelling on top of it. Yeah,
that's what it looked like. Like Prince Charles had been dug up 300 years into the future. You know,
it was very strange. You know, and like I say, everything else gone on with the palace and the Queen being, you know, out of action. All these things seem to be happening together. There's something going on, isn't there? You know, it's.
I mean, there was the talk that they wanted to extradite Prince Andrew to answer questions on Epstein, wasn't there? And you know, then there's obviously the mainstream media saying, "No, he's refusing to go. He's refusing." You know, this, that, and the other. So I mean, this has reared its head again. When originally, oh no, he's not going to be bothered with. It's not going to be bothered with, and all of a sudden, this is happening again. You know, they want him in. They want him in for questioning. But, you know, if they've already got the information, you know, which I'm sure they have. Why not? You know, there's no going. You know, if has he stepped down from royal duties as well? Has he denounced his title or anything, or is he still? I haven't a clue because I don't follow him.
He's not denounced his title. He's just said, you know, he's stopping all public engagement, which they all are. To be fair, I mean, Queen's not doing out anymore. She said, "Fuck it, I've had enough."
I don't think we'll see Prince Philip again. I don't think we'll ever see Prince Philip again.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
But the last time he looked, it looked like somebody was driving with a corpse next to the sea. That was the last photograph that I saw of him, and he looked like somebody from a zombie movie or something. I don't think we'll see Prince Philip again, which is a good thing. I'm sure there'll be a lot of Chinese people that'll be very happy over that as well. But you know.
Imagine they got him propped up in Range Rover while she's driving along. Old Liz.
String on his arm.
Pretending he's teaching him how to drive because he's just nearly killed some because he can't drive because he's too old and senile. Oh God, it's nuts. Raconteurs News Nick GB sent you a message. Well, you can find it for me, mate. I
think it's the video where Greg Hallett's family is outing him as a fraud. I saw that the other day as well, Nick. It did look, I think it was the two sisters and mother that was on camera, and they was showing all the proof, all the photographs, the Maori birth certificate and everything else. But it's like what I've heard over the years is that isn't the real Greg Hallett. There are two Greg Halletts. So we're only seeing in the media at least is this guy that's being called, that's claiming to be king, but obviously there's loads of videos saying that he's a fraud. So it's that again, it's you're being faced with a truth and an untruth, which is adding to the confusion, as well as the virus isn't a virus. Black lives matter, black lives doesn't matter, white lives matter. You know what I mean? It's that, and to me, it's because they should never have given us the internet, because it's fed us. It's fed that, and we're asking more and more questions, and they're going, right, do this, 9/11, Sandy Hook. It's that, to distract the mind from our train of thought, our logical train of thought. My view, once again, but for me, it's too obvious. These things happening are too obvious, too coincidental for them not to be connected.
Yes.
Do you think
race thing and everything else?
Oh yeah.
The moving. Do you think they're sort of moving out and scattering into different places, and then maybe we could be entering a republic where monarchy's just been absolved? I mean, it'd take a lot of parliamentary stuff, but is that where we're going? Is that why everybody's gone? Harry's gone. Harry went first, didn't he, with his bird. Then all others. The only ones, Prince Andrew, who said he weren't going to be doing public things, appearances anymore. And then Queen with the old "we'll meet again" thing.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like they're on the way out, and perhaps we're all talking about this new king, and then actually we turn into a republic. I mean, has anyone thought about that?
I mean, the way we're looking at it at the moment, you've got to look at all possibilities of what it could be. I mean, it could be on the table. I mean, but it'd be historic, wouldn't it? That, I mean, it'd be, but history's there, though, isn't it? It could be. I mean, this whole coronavirus is changing history. So,
what you've got to remember is that they're still of an age. They're of an age where they can remember when the Ceausescu's got overthrown. When it came down to it, it was Parliament that ran the military, and Parliament were declaring a republic and getting rid of them, getting rid of these dictators, and that were only 1989. So it's still within their memory. Perhaps they don't want that to happen to them, because they all got shot, no matter what. Kids, everybody, the lot, the wife, the Nick, I think Nicky Ceausescu Jr. were the only one to escape, but it didn't last very long. So it's that's not beyond a possibility, is it? Because it is within living memory, and also Parliament does run the army.
It's going to change a lot of things.
I remember an old New Statesman, and they were talking about it. And he said, "We'll have to declare a republic." And he said, "Well, the Parliament rules the army, don't they? Uses the army. What they got? They got a few people on horseback, and the Prince Edward leading the cast of cats behind him into this fight, and it's true. If that's, some sort of deal might have been come to, where they've said, off you go. You know.
I mean, something's definitely going down, isn't it? I mean, I don't think there's any question of that, really. Something is going on, but you know, what we've got, we just have to kind of clutch at straws and kind of just assess it from there, you know. And it could have been any of these possibilities. Any of these possibilities are on the table, as far as I'm concerned, you know. But something's really going down.
What would you want?
I'd be quite. As what? Sorry.
What would you want? What would your outcome be? What would you like to see?
Well, I mean, as far as the royal family, I don't really neither here nor there. You know, I don't really give it much thought whether they remain in where they are or not. For me, I couldn't really care. You know, if that's honest, you know, I really couldn't. You know, but if they dissolve and we get a republican, you know, yeah, so be it. But it's dependent. You know, it's as long as we've got a ruling government. While we've got anything like that controlling us, that's the main thing. Yeah, anything that's ruling over us in the way that it is, it's just that's what I don't want. You know, royalty, you know.
What about the theory that I had right at the very start, which was that the economies would crash so badly all over Europe that that they would say, well, we can't handle bailing out this entire economy, so we're going to have to remain in Europe while the European Central Bank bails out all these economies. You know, so that's another way to stop getting out of Europe. You know, the old. It seems an old word now. I've not heard it for such a long time. But Brexit. You know, perhaps it's a way to stop that. I don't know. Any thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, it's there. It could well be. I mean, the whole thing with collapsing economy, I think it's just for the big companies to survive, or the little businesses, you know, crumble. That's what they want. So everything is in these mainly big corporate entities. Yeah, it could well be. You know, to keep us still in Europe. You know, keep Brussels happy and stuff. And it could well be. Yeah, I could go along with that. Yeah. You got any thoughts on that, Paul?
No, nothing really.
I mean, just before the coronavirus outbreak, and before I do that, I was in the garden today, and I nearly pooped my pants because I actually found a corona plant. I'm going to show it you. You can see that there.
Yeah.
Kind of pooped my pants when I saw it, but yeah. Just going back to that, I mean, there are things in place out there, and there's a lot of talk at the moment about Nasara and Jassara. You've heard of that, which is obviously giving the wealth back to the people. You know, and apparently that's already in place. And if my good friend Basil's mum's still in the chat room, she's given me a whole heap of information regarding that. Where it basically is returning the money back to the people. And apparently in the States, this is already supposed to be happening. I think at one stage when this first broke out, they were giving everybody $1,200. Not everybody's received it, but they will be given this. But I think what it is that there is a pot of money. If we go back and talk about, let's just say the whole thing about birth certificates and you know, you being registered and the bond that we're all placed into. It's about that money going back to the people. You know, if you look at that. But as I was saying before, is that before the COVID outbreak, what people have to remember is that throughout the world, there were protests going on about the individual governments. And it was actually coming to a head. So for me, something had to be done to stop that protesting. Because if you look at it now, they're allowing protests for something that may or may not have happened. There are videos surfacing over the last 24 hours of multiple camera shots, like I showed on the show the other night, Jason. There are multiple camera shots that just don't line in. Video CCTV's finally been used in it, and the dates are all wrong, or rather the times are all wrong, and a couple of dates are wrong. Once again, I'll add that into the YouTube comments later on. But it's definitely a video worth watching if you definitely on the edge. There are multiple camera angles. It goes from the dress. If you look at the paramedics, the alleged paramedics that turned up, I have never seen in any, whether it be when I used to watch TV, any US programs where an emergency responder turns up and they're carrying a gun and a body vest and they're in police uniform. But you miss that because you focused on the man with his foot on his neck.
Yes, that's it.
I used to much younger, used to watch a lot of movies just for the continuity. And that's what I'm all about now. When I watch things now that this has happened, I have to watch it about 4 or 5 times, because especially with things like this, is that you will find little discrepancies. One of the first things when I remember posting it before I kind of retracted it, because one of my friends just popped up and said, "Oh, look at the license plate. Since when did police have police on the license plate?" Which obviously set my thinking. But like I say, over the last 24 hours, there are a couple of videos out with multiple camera angles and also date timestamps as well. So it's that. So, you know, the power of the internet has helped people actually go and go, and you're able to question it rather than believe in the narrative that we're all being fed. Sorry, Jason, I know you can ask a question there.
I weren't. Can I have a chocolate biscuit? Is that what you were going to ask?
No, you had something highlighted. I thought you were going to ask the question. Sorry, fella.
No, I just popped some up here at WEBSTER Report that I thought were important. Here we go. Bailiffs are primed to go for default mortgages from October, the end of the mortgage holiday, and that's true. So when the mortgage holiday ends, and people that work for small, medium-sized companies and not these large corporations, then they're going to be struggling to pay the mortgage, because there'll be so many restrictions in place. There'll be so many things that you have to do to make a workplace safe. You know what I mean? And the only people that are going to be able to afford to do that, or are going to be given the luxury of time to do that, are the big corporations that they think people rely upon. So that's it's a good point that Webby. There are going to be a lot of people in a lot of stress, and I'm not personally not looking forward to it, to be honest with you.
Taziama's just said in the chat there, 9 people are currently on furlough, and that to me is my biggest concern, because these companies have been unable to trade because of the lockdown. So their business is going to be very slow. So it's either going to be skeleton staff, and I don't want to say it, but it's something I feel. Redundancies are going to happen. I can't see it going any other way, because the work isn't there. If there is going to be a reset, the economy has to build. You can't have mass staffing, because obviously the payment's got to go out to the staff. So it's that situation there, you know, and like Jason was saying, I think the multinationals, they're already prepared.
It's set up for them, isn't it? It's just
you know, you talk about your regional businesses and everything else that they can't export, they can't import because of whatever restrictions there. So therefore, they're not going to have the financial clout to pay all the staff.
I mean, they struggle with the overheads already, don't they? I mean,
that's it. You know, so I just feel as that you know, it's going to be, well, certainly in the UK, mass unemployment. The health system is going to be overrun with people that have struggled mentally with this. I really don't think they are prepared. You know, I know a couple of people that are working as nurses at the moment, and they've told me what the state of the hospitals are, and it is, you know, as they say, you know, the staff skeletons, wards, maybe a 20 bay ward is only filled with 3 people. You know, and that's the thing that gets me about it all, is that there are people that are suffering that need that treatment. I mean, it's like what agenda is being pushed or whatever is happening, those people should still be taken care of, because we're trying to save lives at the end of the day, but they're sending people home to die. Literally.
Exactly.
You know?
I mean, there's been about nearly 2.5 million cancer patients have had their treatment and their operations either cancelled or postponed because of this. I mean, that's going to be devastating on so many people. Now, I mean, lockdown is going to cause more deaths and more suffering than the virus, if it's real, by the official figures, is ever going to do. So it's madness, absolute madness. It's the fallout of this is going to be incredible, and it's already falling out, isn't it? It's already happening. I mean, suicides have already risen exponentially, so it's already happening. It's just going to get worse. We've got to prepare for this. It's just horrendous. Yeah.
We've got to have some nice stuff, though. There are good people about. There are people like us. We're not going to allow it to overtake us. That darkness that's creeping around everybody else. We're not going to allow that to get round us. So let's not be too. I don't want to be too doom.
No,
Not at all.
Look at the US. The US, they've had a 73% growth in employment as of yesterday in the US. So obviously it depends on the economy in the country that you're in to how that country's going to recover. And I'll state this once again. I'm not a Donald Trump fan, but he's done an amazing thing. The number of African Americans in employment has risen. Women going back to work has risen. And there are lots of things that are on his plus side that he's done for America that he said he would do. Now, quote me if I'm wrong, but from my reckoning, he's probably about the first elected person that has got into the office and actually done things that he said he would do. But unfortunately, from my eyes looking at it, is that the Democrats and everybody else don't want that. And if you consider the people that own the newspaper and the media and everything else on the Democratic side, obviously Donald Trump is going to be trashed because obviously they don't want him in power. So it's that, and people are kind of missing the fact with it. Trump said this, Trump said that. But I hadn't asked anybody yet, but I'd like to say to them, where did you hear that? Do you understand what I'm saying? Because once again, it's the both sides of the coin thing again.
Exactly.
Is that whatever they've heard is that they're running with that. Whereas all the time that everybody's been stuck in the homes and we've got our computers and stuff like that, it only takes a couple of minutes to go and have a look. Because it makes more sense to you of what you'll see in the bigger picture rather than the square box that's in front of you.
That's exactly it.
What's in the house?
Alice put a question in earlier. She says, does Unite Planet agree with protesting?
Protesting.
What's your thought on protesting? Well, I don't know.
It depends. Protesting is a kind of an ambiguous word, really, isn't it? I mean, no,
it won't work. Unless it suits the agenda, then it will work.
I think a lot of these protests that are substantial are all orchestrated anyway in some way.
Infiltrated.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the thing is, a lot of these protests, once they get to a certain level anyway, like I say, they're infiltrated, they become violent, and then that's how they can handle it. The elite, they know how to handle violence, know how to handle protest. Protesting, I don't think really works. It's just non-compliance. Just don't comply. It's peaceful. That's the peaceful way of protest. Just don't comply.
Don't feed the beast.
Yeah, exactly. And I think protesting is, to some degree, feeding the beast. I think it's feeding the beast a bit, So
Webby said in the chat room, protest equals legal acceptance.
Exactly. Yes.
No.
So that's it's you're just playing the game. I think if you go out to these protests, you then become part of the game.
Sorry to say, they don't go anywhere. In 9 times out of 10, they don't go anywhere anyway, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it's also a culmination of negative energy as well.
Yes,
into one place. So you know what I mean? Because protests are very rarely. I know we have this, like we're all holding hands and singing. I don't know, whatever, and all being nice and everything. But that's not the reality of it. Is that like we're looking at a weekend? I certainly don't want Black Lives Matter to be going there, and I certainly don't want Tommy Robinson's lads to be going there. I just think just leave it alone. Or what the other way is, just let them kick shit out of each other until there's none left, and then there's only us left, and we'll rule the world. And, you know, it's just a stupid thing that's being this reality that's been made for us. You know what I mean? And we'll see all these things on BBC. Over the weekend, we'll see all these things, and there'll all be bad things for the Tommy Robinson and his crew, because Black Lives Matter. They've, you know, that's now a thing, even though it's been a thing for quite a while. You know, and apparently it's hateful now to say all lives matter. You know, but you know, I don't listen to fucking idiots. You know, as far as I'm concerned, I'm talking to two white guys and a black guy, and it doesn't make any difference whatsoever.
Exactly.
On what we've all got an opinion. We can talk to each other. It's just I don't know what happens, and but if it does, then just let them kick shit out of each other.
All they're going to do is just bring on, you know, a full lockdown. You know, people are going to start rioting here, there, and everywhere. They've got the ample opportunity to say, right then, do you know what? We're all locked down. You can't come back out. So you've all been tested for COVID because you've all been out protesting. You know, that way. I mean, one of the ridiculous things I saw today, and I just wanted, you know, just to switch the computer off, because I saw a white woman knelt and kissed the feet of black men. And then there was another one where they was washing the feet. And it angered me because they were both stupid. They were both stupid in my eyes, because nobody wants to see that. If you're going to do it when you're putting a key in a jar on the table. You know, just do it at that time. Don't do it in front of there, because all you're doing is just stirring up more hate. You know? Yeah.
Do it when it needs to be done. You know, if you're looking after somebody who happens to be of a different race and the feet need cleaning, do that then. The feet need washing, do it then. You know, it doesn't need to be all over the internet and doesn't need to be everywhere. If we're all just nice to each other and stop. It's like that, the Green Mile, where it says, I don't like how people are ugly to each other. You know, and they are, and it's I don't know what's going on. How's the pots and pans robot stuff going on at your end? Are you hearing clapping at 8 o'clock on a Thursday night, or?
I think. Well, didn't we have the last one last week? Presumably, I hope so. Anyway, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I watch him. Sometimes I just like to watch them do it. You know, just for entertainment. And there's a couple directly across from my house, across the street, and it's as if they're just programmed to do it. There's no enthusiasm in there anyway. It's as if they don't know what they're doing it for. This is how it's become. You know, they're just like that, and they're almost embarrassed to do it, but like they feel they have to. I mean, you know, I feel like going out and going, "What are you doing?" But this is how it is. You know, I think there's a lot of them out there that just feel that they almost scared in case they don't, like they're going to be like attacked if they don't clap at 8 o'clock. You know, so it's, and they're like watching as if who's the first one to clap. It's not going to be me. You know, it's like, come on.
And of course, it gives the government some sort of idea as how many people are falling for it. And I think that's pretty much the reason why we've probably gone on to phase 2 and phase 3, because the people weren't doing it. I remember the first time they did it round here. And I heard it and I thought, for fuck's sake, and I was hunting round, because I'm in a wheelchair, so hunting round house is like crap, and I was hunting for this little, it was a play loud hailer, and what you could do is you could play music on it, or you could just use it as a loud hailer, and I'm going to use it as a loud hailer going, shut up, fuck out. Shipping hell is going on with you. What is this? Go on, get in your house. You're clapping people that can go to work. You can't go to work. You're clapping people that can.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, so that's what I felt like, but it seems to have really. I think second week they were a bit. I haven't heard it since, so I think that's probably why we ended up on to the next phase, because it just weren't working. But Mark Devlin brought up a good point earlier on about the adverts and stuff that have been quickly have been made. You know how long it takes to when you're doing your editing and stuff like that. I know they've got like more equipment and the more that's what they do all day, but the amount of things that came out all at the same time, and they were all like, we're all in house and we're all locked down. I'm just doing my toasters, and everyone's talking to each other through these screens, and like it's sort of normality.
And that one concert thing, whatever that Lady Gaga did, they all, it's like they all set up the equipment and everything. We're led to believe that, engineers didn't come in, and so where's social distancing? Because obviously they've had technicians come in to sort out setting up all the rigging up everything of this this concert that they did. It was in everyone's celebrities' living rooms, But it's people, people just. This is again, it's where the focus is,
It's the heartstrings. The heartstrings.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh God, how many charity things and adverts have been on? Every single one. You want, we've got like kids in Africa that, need to walk 400 yards for a bit, for water. We know this happens, right? I'm not putting anything down on that. We know that this happens, but you're asking the poor people of one country to donate to the poor people of another country, and then the rich people of the other country take the fucking money anyway, and very little gets done. And so, for all these adverts and so this, that, and cancer research, and that the money's just going into a hole. It's going into it's going into people's pockets, and but they've just been doing it constantly. It's as if like they're scared that we're not going to have any money soon.
Go quick.
Can't they?
That's what it's happening. I mean, it's like with cancer research, that they dangle the carrot, don't they? Get people to donate, and it's always that hope, isn't it? They always place that hope, and it's
where's the result from the research?
As what? Sorry.
Where's the result from the research?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they're not really progressing.
Simple question, really, isn't it?
Yeah. and they've been finding a cure for about 80 years now, and they've not really progressed, and people we've got this little drug coming, there's that little step each time just to give people hope, so they keep more, with the old taglines, we'll beat cancer, but
they keep changing though, don't they? We'll keep cancer sooner, I think, is the new one.
Yes, that's right.
Before it we're going to kill cancer. And remember all these they're quite old, but they were when Race for Life started.
Oh yeah.
And there'd be a woman, and she'd come on, and she'd be in like a thing, and she'd go, "Cancer, we're coming to get you." Like loads of women running around getting muddy. He's going to go, cancer's like fucking running away, thinking, oh my God, Jesus Christ, I best get away from all these women. It's just a complete nonsense. You make a complete nonsense of it. And they try to, what they do is they get people who have perhaps lost somebody to cancer recently, who feel like they should do something. These are good people. And these are good people that are doing all these things, but the people that are creaming off the money, 250 grand CEO cancer research, and that, I think that was back in 2003.
Yeah, I mean, there's a comment here. Don Tellenpike, it's gone now. Where's it gone?
There was an act in 1939 that cancer cures can be found.
Yeah, that wasn't one I'm reading, but that's another one. Yeah. But
it's not called cancer results, it's called cancer research. It's designed to be perpetual.
So it's
Quite right.
yeah, it's the wording, isn't it? Research. You're
Yeah.
funding for the research that will go perpetual cycle. You're not funding for the cure. This is so it's like with COVID as well. When they put in the newspapers, you died with it, not of it. It's the wording. And
yes, exactly that. I said that way at the
Yeah.
beginning. It's how it's being said. And if you look at it,
Yes.
if you look at all of this, it is all about the English language.
Yeah.
And
they use it against us. Yeah.
Yeah, the language that we've been using.
Yeah.
Is the language that they use. And
I mean,
think
they use it in legalese and stuff.
We've got that, you know, with people going into courts and knowing the legalese. You know, obviously, there are a lot of people that I would say they are winning, but it never gets out of the courtroom. You know,
can you imagine someone when they said, like, you know, well, he had heart failure and all this sort of stuff, but he died with crabs. You know what I mean? It's just stupid. I mean, you've got a bloke who's died in hospital. He just happens to have crabs, right? Wherever he's got them from, that's none of our business, is it? You know, the dead can't speak for themselves. So all we do, and do they do that? Do they say, oh, yes, he came into hospital and unfortunately he passed away with crabs? It's the same sort of logic, isn't it?
Oh, exactly, yeah.
Died with COVID-19. Died with crabs. He died. Oh, he got crabs. We don't know where he got them from, but there might be a crab epidemic, so you best check yourself when you're in Bath.
That'll be the next one. That'll be the second wave.
Yeah, it will be. Well, I've set it on. Going now, haven't I?
That's it.
What we'll do. Because I did say other week on Facebook, what's happened to Tommy Robinson, and now he's suddenly appeared. So wave 2 will be crabs, and that'll be, they'll say, that's why we said don't have a sex in someone else's bedroom. You know, it's as mad as that. It's as mad as that. Any more Madeline stuff for us, Owen?
No, I can't seem to find anything. That's what I'm doing right now. I can't. There's no more updates since the last one I gave you, so I'm going to keep on that. And then if there is anything that comes through, I'll just I'll either do a live Facebook video of what I find out, or I'll post something onto the page. There's another thing I'm actually looking for here as well, is that I saw a video today of a guy, I think it was somewhere in Walsall, who was in hospital, and they was trying to send him home. They tried to take the needles out of his arm so he could go home. And what he was saying is that there was an 82-year-old guy that died across the way in the ward of coronavirus, and he hadn't been tested. And he refused to go home because he lived with his elderly father. And the end of the video, I was trying to find it there, but literally you've got these two guys, no police uniform, but they have the earpieces in and security wear. But they literally dragged him off and out of the bed. Now, for me, this guy was well within his rights to do that, because although he was fit and healthy, there was somebody that died of the COVID across the place. And he said he'd been to the same toilet, he even shook hands with the guy and everything else. So, you know, for me, if that was me and it was, you know, this guy had died of CV-19, I would be the same. You know, just to protect my family and my friends. I wouldn't want to leave that hospital knowing I could potentially have it and pass it on to somebody else. And not just, but you know, you have to question things like that. Is why would he treat it in this way? He's got a perfectly legitimate reason for staying in hospital, which is to be tested, which we know there is no test. But you know, it's that he had the right to stay in the hospital because of what's being pushed out to the general public. You know. Mind-blowing.
It's terrible, 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 terrible stuff. And we have come to the end of this evening's Raconteurs News. It's been a fantastic show. Really enjoyed it, Paul and Johnny. Oh, you went on a bit, mate, I've got to say. You went on a bit. No, I'm only kidding, mate. Great stuff over there, reporting from Portugal on the Madeleine McCann alleged body find. I just wanted to, just a couple of things I'd written down here. Can you imagine if, when we were talking about LSD earlier on, if you were an LGBTQ on LSD to treat PTSD? That'd be quite a title. That. Anyway, lads, any last words? Anywhere you want to tell us to go? Any interviews? Tell us about your interviews that you've done. I know that you've had Andrew Johnson on a few times.
Yeah, I did earlier try and contact Dr. Vernon Coleman, but he's been very hard to track now. We're hoping to have Mark Devlin at some point. I'm kind of in discussions with him, so hopefully when all this madness has gone and he's moved house at the moment. Hopefully we'll be able to get him on sometime in the year, hopefully.
I'll stick a good word in. He's been on here.
I saw that.
Good word in for you.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I like Mark. He's good, real good stuff. Yeah. So yeah, have we got anything else in the pipeline? I don't.
Are there any more late nights with Norman to come?
The what? Sorry.
Any more late nights with Norman to come?
Probably yes. We'll probably do something with that. Yeah, we'll see what more feedback happens with that. But it's a laugh. You've got to do.
That'd be great. I really do. And people need that. People need that. Literally, if you've not seen
that's
them,
why we did it. Yeah, that's why we did it.
Yeah.
I mean, we wanted to end it with, a little bit of seriousness and a little bit of ending that made sense. But generally, you've got to have a laugh with it. It can't be like, negative all the time, So yeah, there probably will be more Normans.
Well, I've just had thank you anyway. We send a broadcast. Thanks to Unite Planet. You can find them. Unite Planet. It's behind me. I don't know if it's quite worked on this green screen, but it is behind me.
That's pretty good.
If you search for that, you'll find them. I found them easy enough. I've just for the I've just pops up in my corner of my screen, and it's a Facebook message, and it just said, "Dick really enjoyed the experience." So I think it's from Dick last night. Dick. It's saying it's from Dick, and then it says really enjoyed the experience. So that sounds weird. Owen, thanks for coming on, mate.
No problem.
You're a trooper. Our Portuguese correspondent over there in Portugal will be back next week.
Excellent. Good to see you. Good to meet you, Owen.
We've got Vinny on next week.
Yeah.
That should be interesting. So, I know you're looking forward to that, Owen. So that is going to be, I think it's Monday next week, is Vinny. I'll check that anyway and I'll pop it up. Big thanks to everyone for joining us tonight. Big thanks to everyone in the chat room. Spanish Chicken Jake Watkins, if I haven't said your name, it still means I always love you. The Webster Report says you always get one thumbs down, pal. That's no problem. It's probably that guy. I had to sort out a problem in the chat room earlier on, but that's probably the guy that's put the thing down. Anyway, take it easy, everybody. We'll see you back next Monday with Vinny Eastwood. Thanks, Unite Planet. Thanks,
Cheers,
Owen.
Jason. Cheers, Owen.
Thank you.